Some players had unbelievable seasons for the ages, like Russell Westbrook, who's probably going to win MVP, and James Harden, who's probably going to be a close second. Then there were other players like Chandler Parsons, who really, I know he was injured, but really didn't have a good season. But in this video, I'm going to be giving the starting 5 of the most surprising players in this NBA season. And I won't be talking about surprisingly bad players, I'm going to be talking about surprisingly good players. At the point guard, we have got Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas was an all-star in the 2015-2016 season, where he averaged 22 points per game after getting into the starting point guard position for the Boston Celtics. He started off that year as favourite for 6th man of the year and ended up being an all-star. But nobody could have predicted what he was going to do this season, averaging 28.9 points per game and 6 assists per game. He showed in the playoffs that he's one of the most mentally and physically tough players in the NBA, playing probably the best game of his career on the day of his sister's birthday, only a few weeks after she passed away, and also playing on with a tooth falling out. I don't know many players that are as tough physically as that, and I can't think of anyone who's as tough mentally as Isaiah Thomas has shown in this playoffs. At the shooting guard position, I'm going to go for Dion Waiters. Dion Waiters played out of his mind for the games he did play for Miami Heat. When he played, the Heat looked like a team that could have even upset the Cavs, they were that good. Dion Waiters is an extremely clutch, supremely confident player. While that has worked against him in the past in his career, he's at a less talented team in Miami where he could showcase off his talents. He's an extremely good fourth quarter player, a player who never shies down from taking the big shot, and is quoted saying, "I'd rather go 0 for 30 than 0 for 9 because it means that I didn't stop shooting." A player with this confidence could either have a really good or really bad season, and even though his career hasn't been the best so far, Waiters had a very nice season for the Miami Heat when he played. At the small forward, we have got the Greek freak Giannis Antetokounmpo. People thought that Giannis may be an all-star this year. People thought that Jason Kidd playing in point guard might work well or might end up being very bad, and people thought he was probably going to be an all-star, but it would be 50-50. Nobody expected Giannis to average 23.2 points, nearly 9 rebounds per game, 5.5 assists, nearly 2 steals and nearly 2 blocks per game. Nobody expected that out of the Greek freak, considering when he came into the NBA, he was only like 6'8" and skinny. Giannis Antetokounmpo has legitimately put himself into the conversation for who will be the best player in the NBA once LeBron starts to decline. And I would not be surprised if Giannis ends up being the best player in the league at some stage in his career. And to be honest, while people thought maybe in 3 or 4 years he might hit his peak, he might be at an elite level, Giannis is already borderline a superstar in his 4th year in the league. And at the 4, we have got another player from probably the most surprising team in the NBA. Obviously, you might consider the Houston Rockets the most surprising, but to be honest, I thought the Miami Heat were going to be like in the running for the first pick in the draft, to be honest. And the Miami Heat nearly made the playoffs and probably would have made the playoffs without doubt if Dion Waiters didn't get injured. But James Johnson also had a career year for Miami Heat. He only played 27.4 minutes per game and only started 5 games, so he was coming off the bench. But in those minutes, he shot 55% from the field, he shot 34% from 3, averaged nearly 5 rebounds per game, 3.6 assists per game, and 12.8 points per game, which is really good for a 6th man coming off the bench. I think he had a really good year, and I was shocked that he was so productive after only averaging 5 points per game last year for Toronto. But a really big year for James Johnson, and who knows, if this Heat team stays intact and stays healthy, they could compete in the East next year. And at the 5, I'm actually going to put the Shaqtin' a Fool MVP, Javale McGee. So Javale McGee has been kind of bouncing around the league for pretty much the last 3 or 4 years. He only played 34 games last year and was actually waived 2 seasons ago by the Philadelphia 76ers. So JaVale McGee this season for the Golden State Warriors, who were the best team in the NBA. He wasn't a star, he wasn't a standout player, but in 10 minutes a game averaged 6.1 points per game and 3.2 rebounds, as well as nearly a block per game. He did this while shooting 65.2% from the field. But it's not really his stats that are surprising. The fact that he made a huge impact for the best team in the NBA is massive, considering that no team wanted him a year ago. So anyway, that's the starting 5 of the most surprising players from the 2016-2017 NBA season. If you think any other players should be in this team, leave it in the comments, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe. This is my first video, and if we can get to 100 subscribers by the end of the week, that would be absolutely insane. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.